All right, what's up, guys? So we watching to the most disturbing crimes that happened in the Sonic community. Now, funny story. This popped up on my For You page right after we watched the first Sonic Life or something like that from Mash, and this popped up on my feed, and it was low-key disturbing. You know, we like watching creepy analog horror type stuff like that. Also, Poppy Playtime's coming out in February or something. We're gonna play that soon. Trust. We're gonna play a game soon. I know I've been like delaying on my games and stuff like that, but no game has really popped out my interest. Let's get into it.
These are the most disturbing members of the Sonic the Hedgehog community,
Did that nigga have his fucking meat out the first time? What the video just started? Okay.
and as the video goes on, they only get darker. Back in the 2000s, YouTube was a haven for reviewers. People used to review games, movies, and even other reviewers. Each reviewer had their own style of passing comments on the medium they were talking about. And it was around this time that a separate group of reviewers appeared, who can be broadly categorized under the term Sonic YouTubers. And one strange and noteworthy YouTuber from that group was John Burris, who created—
Never heard of this guy ever. You actually remember back in YouTube whenever they used to use the like the action figures or something like that, and they used to do those stop motion type things, like the Goku versus someone else or something like that. I used to watch those. Those was cool.
Created the channel Mario T. Plumber
He was so
in
talented.
2010. The reason John deserves a mention in this video will be very obvious when one looks at the videos he actually made.
Oh shit.
Better animations than them. I mean, what the fuck? It's stupid.
Wait, animations as in like, you know, like fighting animations or the fucking stop motion animation?
They better close their channel if my channel gets closed. That's not fair.
These videos, which
You
were
got
supposed to be
copyrighted?
reviews, turned out to be completely opposite by not containing any valid criticism. In them, John actually had a tendency to utter a slur or a curse word almost every 5 seconds. And
Wow.
this wasn't even done in the most pleasing of ways, since the videos themselves were of very low quality, in which the audio was distorted and loud. And on the other hand, the video quality was also extremely low.
Why, Sega? Why? Why did you have to make this game so close?
I thought Sonic Adventures 2 was the best one. I thought everyone loved that song. Well, not this song, but the game.
To the
In
review
this
part of his
world.
videos, John hated almost everything he reviewed. His only obsession was with how Sonic looked before it was redesigned into a much more modern version. And in one
That
of
nigga got mad that he grew up. What the fuck?
his videos, he had a lot to say about this new design.
Arms and legs are like noodles, and he's looking green-eyed, ugly.
With these opinions, he would
What?
voluntarily debate and fight with people online, and would express how racist and prejudiced he was. Similarly, any other non-Sonic
I'm glad just how Sega is stuck in stranded in Japan. Wow, that is crazy. Nintendo is smart and build their office underground go. I don't even know what that says, but that's crazy.
game would be treated very badly in his videos, and he once went as far—
See, this is a weird fan. This like, you know, like it's like My Hero fandom. Like every fandom is weird. Like it's different between my hero, but not My Hero. It's different between fandoms and fans, because the fandoms be obviously the weirdest ones, but the fans are two different things.
tries to destroy the CD of Spyro 3, a very popular PlayStation game about dragons, on camera and posted on his channel.
Did they make a remaster in 2018? I think I saw Jess. I think I played it.
Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon, PlayStation greatest. I mean, what the?
This made him a notorious YouTuber back in the day, and other reviewers
Whoa, did he just diss my nigga PlayStation? PlayStation is better than Xbox. Well, console wars is over. I'm just saying, like, he's gotta put them in their place real quick.
first started making videos calling him out on this behavior. If John were to do these kind of videos in this day and age, people might have ignored him as a troll, but back then they all really
Nah, that nigga got canceled on Twitter already. I'm not gonna hold you. Niggas probably find him and like probably like send his IP and then put the FBI on him.
took him seriously.
Mario to Plumber is very similar to Testes125.
Oh shit.
He bashes Sonic games for no good reason, except I consider him worse than Testes125.
And in fact, this was because he gave them
I am 24 years old and I'm the best of the games I touch is unbeatable. I collect Sonic 1 merch, Mario merch from 1981 to 1996. God damn, this nigga old as shit. And I also have Zelda merch. I am the best there is to what I do, and I love my life, and I thank God for it. I am not asking you to hate me if you dislike me, but that's because you are jealous and superior. So what the fuck?
a reason to believe
You're 24 years old acting like this, nigga. I'm 18. I don't even act like you. That's crazy.
he wasn't just a normal troll. In 2014, Nintendo released amiibo toys of their Mario's
Holy shit. Now see, this is where it started. I'm guaranteed this is what, like $10 or something. Now all of a sudden they're like $80, $90. This is where it all started before inflation, bro.
Smash Bros franchise. And to put it simply, these toys were like really premium stuff, which had high demand. And so within minutes of their release, they were completely sold out. And one of the toys was
they started off cheap, now they're super expensive now.
that of the character Rosalina, who coincidentally turned out to be the character that John really hated. He even made a whole video in which he ranted
I thought he was about to be a weirdo and be like, I really like her.
detailed manner about how Rosalina was a bad character and how her design was just awful.
This is not a Mario character. She was meant to be a influence for the people that got off to her, who made her at the studio, whatever. And she is also meant to push forth the Moan movement, which is just Japanese waifu characters talking.
What is this nigga talking about?
But this would pale in comparison to what he would do next. In the same year, he spent $4,000 to buy all the Rosalina amiibo toys.
See, this is what I'm talking about. The fucking weirdos, bro. $4,000 for some fucking gooner shit. Bro, this is exactly what I'm talking about. These are the same niggas that be talking crazy and be the ones that's buying it.
For reselling or
$4,000 for some fucking action figure? You're out of your damn mind.
But with the sole intent to reduce the availability of those toys, so that someone who was actually a fan of the Mario franchise wouldn't actually be able to get their hands on them. And he also made sure that this intent was known to everybody by posting pictures of himself with—
Wait. That cost wait. How much is one? Was it like fucking $100 for one?
those toys. That's how much he hated anything modern about Sonic. But eventually he actually ended up facing consequences for what he did, when one group of Rosalina fans was so angry with him that they literally doxed him by exposing all his private information, and they even hacked—
See, that's that loser shit. I'm not gonna lie, I'm sorry.
into all of his email accounts.
Have people threaten to leak my personal information
For buying all the-
I got my daily email for gaming hacked, which had my real information and location.
Yeah,
After all
good.
of this drama, John made a video which delivered a shock to a lot of people.
Like opinions such as or something like that, it's an exaggerated factor, but I do believe—
Wait, is he technically one of those people that be like, what they call it? I think scouters or some shit. Like the people that be getting the Pokemon cards and like before they even release, like they just like get it. What they call it? Like scouters or some shit. I forgot what they're called, but like, is he one of those?
Characters like Palutena,
Since he bought every last one of them sold out.
In the video, he admitted that everything he did on YouTube for the past 5 years had been an elaborate lie just to rile people up.
So
And
he
the
just was a
response to this
troll.
was actually quite surprising, since many people thought John was impressive for pulling off something like this. Now, for most of the later parts of the 2010s, John would disappear, but he would make his comeback in 2023,
Oh,
battling
shit.
a little less for Sonic's classic design. At the same time as John, there was another YouTuber who was making reviews like him, but whose style was very different, and he would get into much more serious trouble because of this.
Case 2, hot
Amongst
shit.
the multitude of reviewers who were talking about Sonic, Dylan Guptill, or Guptill89, clearly stood out from the others. Dylan was different, because while all the other reviewers were acting out weirdly and wildly in their videos to get as much attention as possible, he was the one who actually seemed to review things in a very respectable and articulate manner. You don't find any of the shouting and screaming that John's videos are filled with. Dylan made his videos with a commitment and dedication
What the fuck is that? Is that a snuff film, bro?
that was bent upon ensuring his
This
viewers
is like a
got what they
snuff
deserved.
film.
When you don't script yourself, you sound boring with a lot of uhs, ums, and many pauses.
Apart from these reviews, his channel also contained his hand-drawn Sonic animation videos.
Gotcha this time, Sonic.
Amy, what's the deal? Why can't you just
This is where the fanships came.
go bother someone else?
Overall, while Dylan was honest with his work, people started to find him slightly pretentious. And this opinion was strengthened more when Dylan started criticizing other reviewers in his videos on the basis of their style of presenting their reviews. But this wouldn't really age well when he himself did a very—
He did something weird.
To this day, there's one video of his that is always brought up in discussions about him. And that one is where he rates the hotness of female characters in the Sonic universe.
Aren't they all kids? Now I'm being Virginia. Is it all of them kids besides like Rouge and Shadow? Because Rouge is like what, my age, and fucking Shadow's like 50 years old.
Also called Hot Chick Heaven.
Speaking of females, the Sonic universe might also be
Those are jits. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, lock them nigga up.
classified as hot chick heaven because there's such a mess of very beautiful and tough women that it'll make you love the franchise
He even sounds like a chud. Oh my god.
even more.
On the surface, this might seem like some weird YouTuber doing weird ratings, but it was more than that back in the day. To begin with, rating females in the Sonic universe made Dylan seem like a furry, because Sonic characters are literally anthropomorphic hedgehogs, and so this was as weird and controversial as it is now. Secondly, another important thing was that one of the characters, Amy Rose, in the Sonic universe.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, is it? She's like, no, I think she's younger than that actually. How old is Amy Rose? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that nigga gotta go. I'm sorry. Call FBI. I'm not gonna lie. Nah, that nigga gotta go to jail. I'm sorry.
Which obviously made people call Dylan a PDF file. And so at one point, the criticism and ridicule
The
got
nigga looks like 30, bro.
so bad that Dylan himself had to delete the video entirely. But a few years later, he actually remade the video, this time offering an explanation at the beginning.
Now, I want to get one very important thing straight. There is nothing even remotely or quote about this list, and there never was.
Now, over the years, the opinions about him changed. People started to criticize him less and less, and wondered whether Dylan was someone who was way ahead of his time actually. And there are multiple comments saying stuff like, "I love how nobody can tell if Guptil89 made this video completely seriously, or if he was 13 years ahead of his time in irony and posting." But unlike
Is we dead ass?
Dylan, who denied loving Sonic characters in a very weird way, this next man took his obsession to another level.
Princess Sally
What the fuck was that? Was there a body in it?
is real. No, that's not a person in a costume. That's Sally Acorn in the flesh.
Please don't tell me that he killed someone and put them in the body.
And fur. And bone.
Oh my god.
Sally Acorn was a significant character who appeared in the Sonic the Hedgehog comic series, published by Archie Comics. While Sally had considerable popularity through the comics, her real claim to fame was during one incident regarding an artist who was inspired by her in a very strange way.
No.
In 2009, a user named Great and Dine posted an image to DeviantArt, which is a website for artists and art enthusiasts who talk about and post their drawings. Something like Reddit, but only for art. The image Great and Dine posted was a photo of a Sally Acorn life-size plushie. Now, while there are a lot of life-size plushies, this
is sick, I'm not gonna lie. This is that shit that you see on the deep web and like some true horror, like crime type stuff.
managed to grab everyone's attention because of how real it looked. Many people even thought that it was someone in a fursuit, before Great and Dine eventually clarified that it was an actual doll. But there was actually more to it. On the surface it looked slightly creepy, and people assumed that it must be one of those dolls that people use to have fun, if you know what I mean. People expected such a doll to be stuffed with cotton or some fiber, but that wasn't the case here. This doll had a whole internal framework that eerily resembled a human skeleton, and this is where people lost their minds and started calling Great and Dine a creep and a pervert. More than the fact that he'd built such a doll, people
also technically PDF, but yeah,
offended at the fact that he allegedly decided to do it with human bones, and they started flooding him with messages about how
those are real human bones. I thought he got that shit off of like Amazon or some shit.
Creepy and evil for doing something like this. And naturally people started categorizing him as a furry, which further worsened his reputation. But they were all kind of wrong. It turns out, according to Great and Dine, it was all wood. In a message on his profile in which he was visibly frustrated with all the hate, he wrote, "Warning, by posting stupid empty accusations on my page, you're openly admitting that you are a stupid moron. Okay, one last time. For all the brain dead little idiots who feel the need to express an unearthly compulsion to say something about me, having used a..."
Oh no, you still weird as shit for making that thing, but I mean, I don't think he would use real human bones unless he's genuinely a psychotic person. I think he'd be in jail right now, but he's still weird as shit though.
Real human skeleton to make a doll. I have some very bad news for you. You do not possess free will. You simply lack that property of sentience. In another post, he went into details about the materials he used for the doll. While his skills and creativity impressed many, some were still in disbelief over what he did. They claimed he was sick for trying to create something like that, while others didn't buy the not real bones thing. They claimed that he really did use actual human remains. And the ones who did believe him still went on to question why he would ever make such a thing. What the blue F is wrong with you? Nothing that comes to mind, but thank you for your concern. Ignoring every criticism he got, Great and Dine went on to update the people on the Sally doll, which,
and of course, it's some old middle-aged man, bro.
It was clearly a project he didn't plan to stop soon. Once in a while, he would post pictures of Sally in inappropriate clothing, which wasn't well received by many. And when
let's look up how old is Sally. She's around 16 years old. Yeah, nigga, you're going to jail. You are going to jail.
One user asked him why he portrayed Sally in such a lewd manner by giving her inappropriate and unnecessary organs and clothes, Great and Dine replied with, "I like them, and lingerie. Simple question, simple answer." And Great and Dine might still be working.
Is that Reddit? I'm assuming that he found this shit in Reddit.
Working on a stall, but for now there aren't any updates. In September 2025, he gave a minor update about how he was working on a fursuit mask. This time he crafted an almost real skull out of wood. But Sally wouldn't be the only Sonic Universe character whose fame would be overshadowed by things her obsessive fans did. Even Tails suffered this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I had to skip that one case because that shit was too weird for my liking. I didn't want to post it on my channel. So if y'all want to see that on here, you could obviously description below so you can watch it. Like I think it was case 4, I think, but I'm just gonna skip past it so we can go to the other ones. So yeah.
But as real as it gets.
I'll clarify that to me, it's not a
The diaper man.
Even though the Sonic the Hedgehog TV series aired for only 2 seasons from 1993 to 1994, it managed to stand out amongst other Sonic media of its time. This was because this series had a much more dramatic.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. Even though we're talking about Sonic and the weirdest things and shit like that, but you remember Sonic Underground? I miss Sonic Underground. Sonic Underground was pretty good.
Tone, which helped glue people to the TV screens while it played. But due to demand for other shows and sport events going on at the time, the slot allotted for the series had to be cancelled, and the show came to an abrupt end.
Oh yeah, because back in the day, we didn't have like streaming services, so they had to
termination went mostly unnoticed. It devastated some loyal fans, and one such fan was 12-year-old Richard Anthony Kuta.
This nigga looks weird.
Was left with the longing for the series. Flash forward 10 years, the longing didn't disappear, but only became stronger. He joined newsrooms where fans like him met to discuss their obsession with the Sonic franchise.
Great.
It was this time around the year 2000 when he first discovered a chat room called Fans United for SAT-AM, or Fuse. SAT-AM was nothing but another name for the discontinued Sonic series. SAT meant Saturday and AM referring to morning, meaning that this was the show that played on Saturday mornings. This nickname quickly became useful to many for distinguishing this particular Sonic series from the other ones like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. In the chat rooms of Fuse, Richard would interact frequently with other Sonic enthusiasts like him, but unlike them,
bro, this Sonic shit does it not get to say, bro, just watch this show and just be entertained. It does not need to be like, no, bro.
Richard went even further. This was because he was engaged in selling bootleg or illegal copies of the SAT-AM show online. He actually believed that doing this would contribute towards the possibility of the show's revival. But the people on Fuse didn't agree. They thought that this was something that only made it more difficult for the show to be back on TV.
The community of FUS thought he was being far too radical in his approach, and that selling the bootlegs was sending the wrong message.
You send bootleg?
After some arguments between Richard and the other members of the community, he would be banned from the forum. However, this didn't stop him from creating multiple accounts, which would again be banned from the website. It went to such a degree that the company that created the show, Deke Entertainment, issued a cease and desist order against him. This whole exercise of Richard creating different accounts and getting banned was so frequent that the moderators even created a special ban user group titled Somniac is a Loser. After a lot of discussion, they eventually decided to give him the pass though and let him stay on the server, but even then he managed to botch it by deciding to take things into his own hands regarding the revival of the show. He claimed that he'd been working for quite some time on a SAT-AM movie script, which he pitched to Sega, the company that created Sonic, and surprisingly he also claimed he'd received a response from them.
Hi Rich, I just returned from Japan and we did discuss the Sonic movie, either for a theatrical release or straight to DVD. Sega Japan is considering several options on how to develop a Sonic movie or new TV show, and it's a decision that will not be made quickly. They do feel that a new project should be developed in the West, as Sonic is considered a Western property. It's never been that popular in Japan. However, they've placed your idea in the pre-greenlit stage until you can submit the details regarding your place in the project.
Encouraged by the prospect of him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Was Sonic always gonna have a movie? I know they have a movie now, but did Sonic ever have a movie before then, or am I tripping? I know he had shows, but did he ever have a movie? Comment down below if I get this far into the video, if I didn't want to click off.
Himself being the creator of a Sonic movie, Richard began talking about his potential project as if it was done and ready. He boasted in the Fuse forum and again ended up annoying the whole community, but very soon he would again be contacted by Sega, this time for different reasons.
I just want to make clear that Sega has not relinquished legal consent to you in any way to pursue the production of a Sonic movie, and it's not appropriate for you to suggest that Sega has done so.
I just remember, yes he did. I remember that one movie, it was Classic Sonic and it was Metal Sonic. I remember that movie. Yep, I remember that one. I think there was another one too that I'm probably forgetting about, but yeah.
Sonic movie. You cannot represent yourself as the Sega sanctioned producer of a Sonic movie. I want you to correct the situation immediately on both the animation forum and on your website and in any other forum where you've posted. This is not acceptable.
And this blunt message from Sega managed to silence Richard for a while, before he made his appearance by posting an update about his upcoming film. And as expected, there wasn't actually going to be any film.
I know I've been secretive about this for a while and even received backlash last year for it, but considering the recent events, I don't see the harm in coming clean. Sega of Japan finally made their response, but the situation is bittersweet. To avoid actually posting the entire email, I'll post an excerpt. I regret to inform you that we're already in talks with a third party for a production of the Sonic feature. We often receive an interesting offer for the Sonic movies, whether directly or through Sega of America. Well, there you have it. Sega of Japan are in talks with a third party company regarding a feature film, but unfortunately it will not involve me.
I mean, done, nigga. It's because you're not in a fucking company or you're not even a fucking worker.
Richard's presence on the forums, some had more things to say. One user, Kyonex, noticed that Richard's design for some characters was plagiarized from his drawings. This was the design of the character Dr. Robotnik. When confronted by the artist, Richard decided to put the blame on the artist he hired to do the drawing, Rock. But Rock wasn't going to let this happen. In a long post, he admitted that Richard actually gave him Kyonex design as inspiration. So being exposed by his own team left Richard in an increasingly embarrassing position and made him quit the forum.
I won't be posting here anymore.
But this announcement would prove unnecessary, as he would be banned the same day.
Damn.
A month later, Richard would be back on a few other forums, but his chapter was mostly closed, until it wasn't. Thanks to a website known as Encyclopedia Dramatica, or ED. ED was created in 2010 by Sherwood de Grippo, who decided to archive all the internet drama. The kinds of drama range from trolling incidents to gore content. It can be described as Wikipedia on steroids, where you could find information about the online presence of some disturbing and very weird individuals. And one of these individuals was Son Manic, who was—
Of course his ass is. I'm not even surprised that he's on here, bro. He looks like the type to be talking about fucking gore 24/7.
None other than Richard. And the most crucial information that was included about him—
Nah, I'm not gonna lie. You're old. Nah.
With wearing diapers, as well as his page in the diaper space. Richard belonged to a group of people who called themselves ABDL, which when expanded meant Adult Diaper Lover. There's probably no need for me to clarify anything further. As time went on, Richard would engage in discussions regarding topics such as which diaper company made the best diapers. But it is also very interesting to note the reason Richard gave for his obsession.
But I know there's a lot of confusion when it comes to ABDLs, but I'll clarify that to me, it's not a— While
that shit's a fetish. I'm sorry. That's a weird fucking fetish.
it can be for some, most treat it as a lifestyle, which is—
That's that shit that you see on TLC. You remember when TLC had that weird— Actually, yeah, they did. They said a dude that couldn't not pretend to be— he had to pretend to be a baby or some shit. That's a fucking fetish, bro. That's weird.
I do. So kind of think of it as roleplay that you commit to on a daily basis.
No.
So I guess that's the abridged version of it.
Other information that was presented in the ED page regarding Richard was his MySpace and OkCupid accounts. OkCupid was a popular dating site back then. Here, Richard would post long-winded paragraphs about his personal experience of being lonely.
Was this before Twitter?
Well,
I said before
exactly
Tinder or
a
after Twitter?
fabricated by the greeting card industry that only contributes to emotional affliction. How can someone truly share a psych system with couples making out a few steps shy of you when commercials are constantly endorsing jewelry and painting a false depiction of what the happy relationship is supposed to be? I abstain from all female companionship, especially since I've not been fortunate enough to experience true love.
This page—
So because you didn't experience it, maybe you didn't go outside enough, maybe, and even still, you probably wasn't talking to people. That's probably why. That doesn't give you an excuse to be a weird ass nigga, but still.
Exposed Richard to the whole world, but it didn't actually seem to have any effect on him, as he once again got back to his ambition to make a Sonic fan film after he was contacted by another infamous Sonic community member, Spax3. But even this wouldn't go well, with Spax threatening to file a lawsuit against Richard for a business issue. And like any other fight on the internet, nothing came out of it. But despite all of this, Richard's attempt to make a Sonic film continued, and he ended up annoying the headquarters of Sega. In 2009, they sent him another cease and desist notice to stop him from pestering them continuously. This blow was huge, as Richard would stop posting on the forums again, only to appear on another site, this time on YouTube, under the username A Not Hall Resident.
How can anybody find this remotely entertaining, or even enjoyable for that matter? I could barely get through an hour of this game, and I'm already finding myself getting frustrated over it.
I won't be going over every aspect of Richard's YouTube channel, which unfortunately, or fortunately, has been lost, but I'll talk about the one video that brought him in front of a wider audience. It was a reaction video to the Sonic 4 game trailer.
Oh, classic!
This response from Richard, while seemingly normal, although a bit weird, made him a target of many Sonic fans' hate, who believed he was nitpicking the faults. And due to the many comments and hate on his video, Richard decided to delete it.
I removed the string of rant videos because apparently this generation is devoid of intelligence and would rather drink the Sega Kool-Aid than think for themselves.
To
What the fuck?
which another user replied,
"Have fun watching old episodes of Sad AM every night, alone in your bedroom."
Another video on his channel was him justifying and informing the world about who adult really are.
And what you do is you just kind of transport yourself back into that innocent moment of childhood.
That's weird as fuck. I don't care what nobody says.
And it's
Well, everyone that has a brain also knows it's weird as fuck, but still.
more than just harmless escapism. There's nothing about it.
After all these events, Richard would slowly reduce his presence online, while the documentation of his activities was only increasing. One site after ED that helped with this was Kiwi Farms, which was like Reddit for online harassment. Eventually, in 2022, Richard would claim on Twitter that he quit being an ADDL. But some users dug deeper and found out that he was still active on Reddit in the ABDL subreddits under the username Munkin Plastic. And he would post disturbing requests for babysitters to take care of him. And in a similar fashion, Richard continues to be exposed to this day. The most recent comment was left on June 19, 2025. But still, his love saga of Sonic will seem very normal compared to what the next person did.
I was attracted to Sonic.
I didn't like that.
When Jason Kriver showed a liking for the Sonic the Hedgehog, his parents didn't think much of it, as they knew that kids frequently obsessed over fictional characters.
So you've been doing this shit since he was a jit. Okay, I see, okay.
On top
well, I didn't question the fact that he liked it, a blue furry creature.
Of that, Jason was medically autistic, so it wasn't something to worry about. But still, this obsession gave rise to something very disturbing. It all started when Jason turned as he unknowingly stumbled upon two things. One was Sonic the Hedgehog, and the other one was a disturbing practice called sounding. To explain it in a PG manner, it is the practice of inserting long objects like pens and pencils into
oh my god.
One's private organ. Jason got into this habit, and it didn't end well for him. Once he used a rusty nail.
He has tetanus.
And the ensuing trauma to his organ sent him into a coma for around 15 days. After this recovery, Jason stopped sounding once and for all. But as if compensating for it, his Sonic obsession grew even more. At first, Jason was just a typical Sonic fan who frequented chat rooms and forums. And eventually, he named himself J Sonic, a combination of his favorite character's name and of course his own name. It was also at this time in 2007 when J Sonic made himself a DeviantArt account, and this is where things get completely weird, as J Sonic revealed to the world a deep-rooted fantasy about his love for his Sonic plush toy. This wasn't just your everyday kind of love, but something that involved a physical side to it, and it will be clearer if you read a post he made in 2008.
I want to tell everyone who watches me that I'm a plushophile. Now, I have many Sonic plush toys, all of them only Sonic the Hedgehog. A couple
What the fuck does that mean?
of them are out for display purposes. A few others are in my private drawer.
Does that mean that you go for just... Nah, I'm not gonna lie. You could have worded that different.
One for snuggling while I'm in bed sleeping, and the other one for making love with. I adore Sonic, and have been a plushophile since I was 20, and been a true Sonic fan since I was... Although I'm still a plushophile, I'm still a true Sonic fan. And
you can word that so many... Like, you could have said so many different things. You decided to put the file.
Loyal one also. Sonic is my plush boyfriend.
Not surprisingly, his account quickly got banned from the site, and this made him realize he had nothing in common with other Sonic fans. And this is when he found solace by posting on another website called Fur Affinity, which was a website for furry enthusiasts. And it speaks volumes that even on a website that hosts relatively interesting people, J Sonic managed to get himself banned in 2022 for trying to coerce a younger user into seeing NSFW content. This obviously led people to label him as a PDF file.
Thanks for wanting to be my
this is the only... It took that to realize that? Are y'all serious? Did y'all not just see what he just said in the last two posts? Are y'all serious?
Friend on here, although I need to warn you. Are you above 18? I'm totally NSFW, but on the server I try to be as safe for work as I can. I'm actually... Okay, I am 42.
Oh my god! Go to jail.
Just don't tell anyone and it will be fine. I will...
And he just hit you with the don't.
Just tell you that I have intimate relations with a Sonic plush toy without me even showing your pictures or anything. I'm very uncomfortable with this. I thought you would be. Not everyone's okay with this.
There was other evidence that proved that J Sonic might be a PDF.
But the thing about it, he still kept going after that, after they said it now. And even still, you should have stopped at the fact that they literally just said their age. Like, what the hell?
But he kept denying it. Finally, though, he confessed it on Twitter.
Blocked me. I will admit that, yes. I did show private parts to someone younger, but they ambushed me. They said they were very excited for Sonic also. I hang my head in shame because of this.
But these events, despite...
I'm not gonna lie, bro. They need a... This nigga's 42 years old, cuddled up with a fucking Sonic plushie. Be out of our fucking minds, bro. I'm sorry. These are the people that GDN really gotta find. These are the creeps, bro.
Nature would only be background noise compared to what was at the center of the stage. This is the Sonic plushie he used for 20 years. And
that nigga used that shit like it was his, like it was one of those socks that you use for your. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. You gotta go to jail. You have to go to jail. I'm sorry. Get this nigga away from me.
And it is unwashed. Now, one user named
And it's unwashed for 20 years. And you be using that shit to play with yourself. Nah.
Justin would reveal that they sold J-Sonic a Sonic plushie on eBay. And after selling the plushie, Justin expected he would hear no more from his overly enthusiastic but kind buyer. But he was indeed wrong. A few days later, J-Sonic hit—
Like, yo, you... Oh my god, bro. What the fuck is this video?
him up with a very shocking message, in which he apologized for something he'd done to the toy.
I'm almost ashamed to write you back after I read that reply. I've been in a cutting phase for several months now, and I have to cut up the plush toy to where it's only his head now. I did spend a lot of money on it, and I've even gone to buy another one because I feel guilty about going all barbaric on it. I mean, I still love Sonic, but I blame it on the 2 vaccines, an adrenaline rush that has caused me to cut up this Sonic plush toy.
At first, Justin didn't fully realize what it was all about and offered consolation to J-Sonic. But then, when Justin talked about his weird eBay customer to his friends, they quickly pointed out that it might be none other than the actual J-Sonic himself, the infamous Sonic lover. And
no, fuck that nigga. Where is his parents? Where are his parents?
This became more certain when Jason found out what J-Sonic wrote in his recent blog.
Well, I finally snapped again. I've removed his entire body, just his head, ears and eyes are left of my Sonic plush toy. Dang.
And it also didn't take J-Sonic much time to get a new plush toy, to which he even gave a new name, Sonic the Hawk. But even this plushie would face destruction in J-Sonic's hands.
I haven't been doing so well with this plush toy, because now it's like cut down to where I only have his face intact. He was expensive as well, $127, and I had to go do this. I'm telling you that these two—
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm traumatized. Like, I don't want to imagine it, but I'm imagining it like, I'm sick.
Scenes were the culprit of me cutting up not 1, not 2, but 4 Sonic plush toys. I can just kick myself for doing that.
As this saga got bigger, it also got more popular, and in 2023, J-Sonic felt the need to make his first public appearance to explain himself to all the trolls.
It's me, J-Sonic, and I have a message for all you trolls. I'm not a...
Yeah, yes you are. Yes you are.
A blush file, not the... Okay.
No, you're that.
Naturally, this backfired, and J-Sonic had to just keep to himself from that moment on, away from the internet. But while J-Sonic might seem like an extreme case, there's another individual whose story still manages to give—
come on! How can you get worse than that?
Nightmares to many online.
Which ultimately led to him having a relationship with his own mother.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like, I don't even rep Sonic for real. I'm not gonna hold you. Growing up with Sonic, it was cool. But knowing that it's like weirdos like this, I don't know, this might be worse than the My Hero fandom, bro. Or any other fandom besides that. Who knows? It's probably worse than that. But you have to realize, if this nigga's this was the worst case that came out. I'm not gonna lie. Besides, no, actually no, I'm gonna take that back. The case that I skipped was the worst one. This is I'm not gonna lie, they're hand in hand. I'm sorry, they're hand in hand. Like the case that I skipped versus this one I just played, they're hand in hand. I'm sorry, that's wow. All right, we're at case 7, the Horrors of Sonic shoe or some shit like that. This, you mind you, this nigga said he literally had something with the person that made him. I don't understand, like, bro.
On August 1st, 2000,
and the fact that she was okay with it. Nah.
2021, officers from the Henrico County Police Department get an order to arrest an individual who was residing in a hotel. And when officers knocked on the door, it was opened by Christina Chandler.
Yes.
Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Christine Chandler.
Okay, can you come out for a second?
Who, though seeming a bit eccentric, still managed to have a normal, sometimes even cheerful conversation with them. But quickly, the conversation would change, as the police were being watched from afar by some suspicious individuals.
There is nothing illegal in the room and nothing illegal in the bed.
And then, when they were escorting Chris or Christina to the police vehicle, the number of onlookers increased, and they even started talking to Christina and shouting, "The merge is coming."
Okay. It's happening now. We're on the very last thread.
This confused
what the fuck
whole
is the
team of
merge?
police, who weren't informed about the dark history of the individual they were arresting. Christopher Weston Chandler was born in 1982 to Bob and Barbara Chandler. While this was a happy event for the couple, it was something that was filled with misgivings since the beginning. For starters, Bob was 42 and Barbara was 50 when Chris was born. This high parental age raised the chances of the child having some developmental delays or other abnormalities. And
wait, really? Is that true? I mean, I never knew that was true. I did not know that.
This is exactly what happened.
I thought it would probably be harder to raise him because of the fact that your parents are so old, but I did not know that.
Chris was diagnosed with autism, but at the beginning, nothing of this nature was apparent in Chris. Another issue was that Bob and Barbara were both alcoholics, who frequently hired a babysitter.
Oh my god, this nigga got a double fucking Rammy.
Named Rosh to keep an eye on their son. While she was mostly nice to him, Chris would later blame her for his autism in his early YouTube videos.
And I came over to her and said something, and she was kind of angry at me because I interrupted her phone call. Then she locked me in the room for nothing but toys, and she just locked me in there. Well, that's how my autism began.
Chris' high school phase was important because this was the time he first encountered Sonic and realized that by mixing two fictional characters, he could build others. And this is when he created a character that would go on to become something synonymous with it. It was a mix.
So it's Sonic and Pikachu combined. Was he the first person to make that shit, or was I thought that was already a thing? Like they try to mix Pokemons with Sonic.
Picture of Sonic and Pikachu, and the reason he created it was for a class project in which students weren't allowed to use copyrighted characters. And finally, Chris used 2 copyrighted characters to create a new one. After graduating from high school in the year 2000, Chris would join Virginia Community College and enroll in the computer-aided drafting and design course. And even after high school, he continued working on Sonic Shoe, even distributing newsletters on campus. Behind all this, however, Chris was deeply unsatisfied with college life, as people didn't approach him. He also very desperately wanted a girlfriend, which led him to sit on his college campus with a sign that read,
"I'm a 20-year-old and single male seeking a cute 18 to 21 single female and companion."
The name he gave for this method of finding a girlfriend was Love Quest, and naturally
that is frying me. I'm not gonna lie. I just want to say one thing for sure. I mean, hey, I'm not saying that it's weird to have a bunch of Pokemon cards and an anime girl on your thing. I'm just saying that I don't think that a girl would like mess with a dude like that. I'm just saying. Maybe probably is some. I'm just saying though.
This put him in hot water with the dean of the college, Mary Lee Walsh. Initially, Mary only warned him about the sign, but despite these warnings, Chris continued his love quest and had to be called to the dean's office.
I think it looks like a creep, I'm sorry.
A normal conversation quickly turned into something else, when Chris suddenly started to talk aloud with Sonic Shoe, and after being asked to stop, he cursed at her in a fit of rage. And this led to him being suspended from the college for a whole year. Later in his life, Chris would then start drawing obscene drawings of the people he
Did y'all see what I just saw?
hated. One such person was Mary. During his college phase, Chris actually managed to become friends with a girl named Megan Schroeder. While it may seem surprising that she took a friendly interest in him, in hindsight it might have been only because she'd recently suffered from a bad breakup. But despite
Wow, okay.
Despite this, Chris began to make inappropriate moves on her, which eventually led her to accuse him of harassment. All the ups and downs in Chris' life resulted in him escaping this reality by creating comics. And this would be the Sonic Shoe comics. Although initially it was only meant to be about this one fictional character, slowly real incidents from Chris' life started seeping into it. And after some time,
so it's
even the
Pokemon
comics
and
started
Sonic
affecting his actual life.
together.
Sonic Shoe was first noticed by some users on 4chan who stumbled upon it by chance. And this led them to the creator, who was Chris. Another instance of Chris' early fame was when one user who went to the same college as Chris posted on this Something Awful forum about the Love Quest incident.
"This guy used to leave business cards at my school's library, where he would hang out for hours looking for a boyfriend-free girl. This is how I first learned of him. From here I developed something of an obsession, culminating last summer when I made a special trip to a gaming store and local hangout where he posted he would be. He was very bit as interesting as I'd imagined. I present to you Sonic Shoe."
This post wasn't even related to the real topic of the thread, but it still ended up interesting so
Is that
many
Moist
people
Critical?
that they created a separate thread topic for him. And without Chris being aware, multiple people online started to take an interest in his story and comic. And this cascaded into the creation of an ED article on it by Jason Hanwall. Now Chris eventually found out about this, and when he did, he wasn't happy because he found the article to be damaging to his reputation. To counter this, he would release a YouTube video naively asking the creators to remove the ED page on him.
Take them down, please. I'm asking. As an innocent victim of misunderstanding, just take down your web pages or add them to positively better reflect my feelings as an individual.
But of course, this didn't end up happening, and enraged, Chris began adding weird things to the page. And one of these was a drawing of him doing a very inappropriate thing to his friend Megan.
You said, so you want them to take it down, but instead of telling them that you're not a weirdo, you make weird shit to make you look like a weirdo. What, nigga?
While this was posted to damage the ED page, it ended up backfiring, as Megan found out that Chris had been drawing her like this. Chris
Like, yo, this is crazy.
Initially captured the pic, your sister has something for me. This led many to imagine that it was Chris' own fictional sister named Krista. The caption was meant for John Schwerber, Megan's brother, whom Chris mistakenly believed to be behind the trolls. Megan obviously lost trust in Chris, even though he promised never to do something like this again. But their friendship ended, and so people got more of a reason to continue trolling and pranking Chris online. One of the most shocking pranks committed on Chris was when people made him believe that he had an online girlfriend named Blanca Weiss. This identity was created by 3 users: Ricky Ricardo123, Icarus69, and Nurse Iki-chan, who under the guise of Blanca emailed Chris. Believing it to be a real girl, Chris began doing anything to please her, and he went as far as photograph himself in his own mother's underwear.
This
But
is
the real
sick.
objective behind all of this was to get Chris to give them his Sonic True medallion, one of his most prized possessions. This necklace, which he wore almost every time, became part of his trademark style and his identity, and the pranksters asked Chris to send this exact medallion, and Chris, thinking this would increase his chances with Blanca, sent it. Inevitably, Chris was deeply hurt when his quote-unquote girlfriend posted a video of slowly breaking the medallion to pieces on YouTube. And this opened Chris's eyes to the fact that he had been trolled all this time, which led to him being even more depressed, added to the fact that he was alone with his widowed mother after his father died in 2011. Chris came to realize how his online persona was affecting him, so he stopped responding to trolls and stopped frequenting the online forums. But this still didn't stop him from igniting drama in his real life. In October of 2011, Chris and his mother Barb were arrested for assault on Michael Snyder, the manager at the game store that Chris frequented and where he had a long history of causing trouble, and so he was banned from entering it in 2008. But upon hearing that the management had changed and assuming that Michael wasn't employed there anymore, Chris and Barb visited the store. But unfortunately, Michael was still indeed there, and they exited the store, but not without injuring Michael by dashing him with their car. When the police were called, Barb even assaulted the police officer, and the ensuing legal battle sucked much of the money that Bob had left, leaving the mother and son in deep financial crisis. In response to this, Chris started selling his artwork on Facebook to his fans, but the money he actually got, he spent irresponsibly on buying toys to place in his already crowded room, in which he spent more and more time, as the little friends he had started to abandon him one by one. This wasn't without reason either, but due to the fact that Chris was becoming increasingly antisocial and homophobic. In an email to Megan, he wrote,
"Yes, I'm a homophobe. I fear that
He became homophobic? I thought he was, you know what? Let's go, let's go.
all, and I fear the tormenting temptations of falling off the straight path. But then I mentally, sometimes from a DVD, and if you'll pardon the expression, shove some pee in my face. I tell you what, if I ever stoop down to changing my path, I might as well get a gender change operation."
And this would prove to be peak irony, because in 2014, Chris would claim that he is transition, and that
that's actually, wow.
People should start referring to him with female pronouns. For people observing the sudden transformation, it seemed like Chris' mental state was dropping lower and lower, and it seemed like he didn't learn anything from his past mistakes. When in December of that year, Chris again attacked an employee at GameStop, earning himself a stay in jail for one night and a $540 fine. The financial condition only worsened when Bart was sued by 2 banks because she didn't pay $20,000 of debt. But
Oh my
despite
God.
that, Chris still managed to spend around $6,000 buying new toys and consoles during the crisis. He even thought it would be smart if he begged for money on the internet with thousands of dollars worth of collectibles behind it. But one event during this time that holds special significance looking back now is a comment from Chris on a Facebook post. This post was about a mother and son in Mexico who were involved in an inappropriate relationship with each other, and while every other comment felt disgusted by this, Chris was the only one who didn't, and in fact actively defended the couple.
Anyhow, who among everyone in this world has not had a dream of having relations with one of their parents?
No, that's fucking sick. I'm sorry. Nah, you fucking lost. You already lost me a long time ago, but you lost me even more. I'm not gonna lie. Lock this nigga up again and again and again.
Ever. I myself did have dreams of having relations with my mother. Although this is quite a controversial
You're weird.
topic, there are circumstances where there would not be so much harm as one may think, feel, or believe.
To which the user replied,
"You're weird."
Weston Chandler. I'm sure I don't need to say this, but don't engage in this. It's a mistake you'll never be able to take back. I have not and I would not.
But then came the COVID-19 pandemic, when people were restricted to their hopes. Chris was fed up with his failures of getting a girl, but no one imagined to what length this desire for a woman would take him. On the night of July 27th, 2021, Chris, while on a call with one of his friends, Bella, who was in fact a troll, began to confess about what he and his mother were up to. And hearing these details, Bella immediately started recording the call, and after that, even
Tonight, I started more of a consistent pattern in my massaging, and I took an input, a focus on getting blood flow into what the fuck are we talking about? Before tonight, I did not really have set patterns in the message aside from feet and legs, followed by the hand and the arms, the face and torso, and a rollover for a back. I found more consistent method that works between the legs and arms, but I was inconsistent in the hands and feet anyway. Also made another attempt at rubbing her Okay, man.
Took screenshots of the chat. It seemed like Chris was always itching to publicize the fact of his relationship with his mother. In his chats, he went into extreme and disturbing details about how he made his mother happy. With enough evidence at her hands, Bella released this information publicly, which caused such outrage that people who didn't even know the whole Chris Chan story started talking about it. And so in no time, Chris and Barb were separated by authorities, and Chris went on to stay in a hotel. And this is where the Henrico Police Department arrested him. He was eventually charged for engaging in inappropriate relations with family members. And while awaiting trial for a felony, Chris began acting in more extreme manners by claiming that he was Jesus and that the merge was happening. For Chris, the merge was an apocalyptic event when the world came to an end, and he was made God. Observing this very behavior, the trial was postponed, and Chris was sent to a mental institution instead. In 2022, there weren't any news about it, and people speculated that this might be the end of the saga, but it wasn't. In March of 2023, after spending 2 years in jail, Chris was released, all thanks to his lawyer, Dale Halberg, who used his autism to be tried differently. And while the charge—
Nah, I'm not gonna lie, that's no excuse. I'm sorry, that is no excuse for doing all the shit that you did. Like, God forbid someone having a disability, a mental disability or something like that. But nah, I'm sorry. That is no excuse for what he did, bro. Back to back to back. That's no excuse.
Just still stayed, Chris managed to get himself out of jail. But after a few days, even the charges were dropped on August 25th, 2023. And ever since then, Chris had been keeping to himself and making few appearances online.
Wow. That was something. I hope— what the fuck is that? Did we watch this? This is creepy as hell. But well, I hope y'all like the video. Definitely like, subscribe, and share this with your friends. I'm not gonna lie, I'm very highly disturbed, and I probably will never ever try to look at a fandom ever again. I thought My Hero was the craziest. Nah, I'm not gonna lie. It's more fandoms crazy than My Hero, but I thought My Hero was one of them the weirdest fandoms. But turn out I was wrong. It's the fucking Mario and the Sonic ones, the Nintendo games or Sega games, or whatever the fuck. I thought My Hero was bad. Turns out Sonic was worse. Okay, wow. It's probably more worse things out there too. That's the worst thing about it. But definitely like, subscribe, share this with your friends. Definitely check out the creator in the link description. Now, top 3 worst videos. Well, top 3 worst cases that I saw was the Tails one with the Tails on the bench, that weird one, the bone one, the one where the dude made bones out of the thing to make Sally, and the one that we just watched. I'm traumatized, I'm not gonna lie, but definitely like, subscribe, share with your friends. If y'all want to check out the creator, definitely I'll put it in the description below. See you on the next one. Peace.